This is Mario Andretti for Hanna Car Wash.
Hanna is leading car wash technology into the future with an advanced process that works for every car. No other process, not even hand washing, is as safe, as thorough, as gentle. I should know. I own a Hanna Car Wash. Hanna, the advanced process for washing cars.
Hello, I'm Fred Armstrong, race announcer for the Portland International Raceway. For the next 30 minutes, you'll enjoy an inside look at the Portland Budweiser G.I. Joe's 200, the region's premier auto racing event and the only Northwest appearance of the PPG IndyCar World Series. In 1984, thanks to the efforts of business, civic, and community leaders, the IndyCars came to the Rose City. With the professional support of Global Events Group and the determination of longtime Rose Festival Association volunteers Bill Hildick, Bob Ames, and Norm Daniels, Portland had a sensational finale to the Portland Rose Festival. Besides the competition, we'll show you what makes up an Indy car, the technology, horsepower, and craftsmanship that goes into these $400,000 machines. And we'll also look back at Portland's unique place in American auto racing history that began, believe it or not, back in 1909 in East Portland. Before we take you back to the race of 1984, let's take a brief look at the racecourse. Portland International Raceway, PIR, is unique among IndyCar courses. It offers a challenging 1.9-mile road course with a long, demanding front straight, a quick chicane, then a series of S's before a long, arching back straight, then into turns 8 and 9, and back to the front straight. Cameras click and snap, trying to stop even for a moment the mad splash of colors whizzing past the viewing stands. Heads stretched, trying to keep pace with the Indy cars capable of speeds in the neighborhood of 200 miles an hour. For a few minutes, let's sit in the driver's seat with Al Unser Jr. and find out what it's like to drive the Portland International Raceway.
Down into the chicane, downshifting, slowing the car, very violent through there because the car is going from side to side, heading toward turn 1.
And they go through a series of corners here, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5.
Yes, into turn 1 there. As you can see, there's a lot of grass area, so there's plenty of runoff. Here, Al Unser heads for turn number 3. It's a tight course around this corner. You have to be careful because it's a decreasing radius. You head down toward turn 5, around turn 5. A lot of cars get off in this area because it's a little slower than it looks like you can go. Here he's through 5A and out onto the long back straightaway.
It's actually not a straightaway, but a long sweeping corner, and the speeds here will achieve 170 miles an hour before the driver backs off for turn number 7.
And yes, turn 7 is very quick. It's at the end of this straight. You go from one curve to the other very violently and very quick. Heading for turn 9, selecting the right gear, down to the inside of the curve, across to the outside, and out onto the front straightaway, shifting gears, and you've made a lap.
Amid the splendor of the 76th Annual Portland Rose Festival, the 1984 Stroh's G.I. Joe's 200 was unique in its own right. Portland became one of the 9 road courses on the IndyCar schedule, and 68,000 weekend race fans turned out to see their favorite PPG IndyCar World Series drivers. Portland was ready. Year 1 in Portland was a year of destiny for Al Unser Jr. During his young career, Little Al had shown immense potential as a racer, challenging many times for an IndyCar checkered flag. Also among the 1984 IndyCar elite was Little Al's father, 4-time Indy 500 winner Al Unser Sr. Rick Mears, who just 3 weeks earlier had won his second Indianapolis 500. Danny Sullivan in the Domino's Pizza Hot One, an ace on fast road courses like PIR. And veteran former world driving champion Mario Andretti also looked tough, as did rising stars Bobby Rahal and Jeff Brabham. Qualifying on the new PIR course hinted at the excitement to come. Despite an unfamiliar track and the first ever use of Goodyear radial racing tires, speeds were quick. Mario earned the pole, driving his Paul Newman, Carl Haas-owned Lola to a record speed of 115.989 miles per hour. Race day dawned sunny and clear. The crowd was filling the grandstands, crowding the East Bank. They were here and they were ready for the start of the first IndyCar race in Portland. Mario out-accelerated Danny into turn 1. Portland's first IndyCar race was on. After the pit stop shuffle, a new threat emerged. The black and silver march of Al Unser Jr. On lap 104, thrusting both hands skyward, Al Jr. powered under the checkered flag. Coming into the 1985 race, Mario Andretti was hot, very hot. The 45-year-old native of Montona, Italy, won 2 of the first 3 kart events in his Dan Hanna Car Wash-sponsored Lola. Mario would be tough to beat. But there would be many challengers, like Danny Sullivan, fresh off his dramatic spin-and-win move at Indianapolis. Emerson Fittipaldi, the former 2-time Formula One champ. And the Unser clan, Little Al, who won last year, and Al Sr. hunting for the PPG title. In qualifying, Sullivan proved that his strong showing last year was no fluke. He drove his Penske team March to the pole with a speed of 115.030 miles per hour. Al Jr. was just a tick behind, followed on the grid by Bobby Rahal, Mario, Jeff Brabham, and Fittipaldi. Another dazzling run to the checkered flag appeared ready. On race day, sunshine and spectators again poured forth. 38,000 strong packed Portland International Raceway under a bright blue sky. But the drivers were focused on another color, green. When the flag fell, Sullivan shot into the lead, but his dominance was short-lived. His steering mechanism failed on lap 2, giving the lead to a hard-charging Al Unser Jr., looking to make it 2 Portland victories in a row.
Well, it's a recurring problem on Danny Sullivan's machine. Last time in, he was complaining of suspension problems in the front of the machine. They made some adjustments. They said they checked it over and they couldn't find anything seriously wrong. But he's now since come back onto pit road and they're working in the front of the car. That's normally the place that you would make an adjustment on the spring load to the right front. That seems to be the problem on the Miller American team, and it's costing them a lot of time here at Portland.
It was not easy going for Little Al. Bobby Rahal and Mario Andretti pressed him hard, and the trio swapped the lead during the early stages of the race. The lead continued to change during pit stops. To the chagrin of many, Bobby Rahal and the Budweiser car retired on lap 54 with an oil leak, leaving the battle to Mario and Little Al.
I don't know, looks like an oil line might have broken, something. You know, the car, it was running fine even with it smoking, but I guess they don't want you to smoke.
Close behind Mario and Little Al were Emerson Fittipaldi, Jeff Brabham, Al Unser Sr., and Kevin Kogan. On Lap 94, Brabham's challenge ended with a blown engine. Emo, Al Sr., and Kogan soldiered on in search of PPG series points. It soon became apparent that Mario's brilliant red Lola held the upper hand, and on lap 86, he forged past Al into the lead a final time.
Is he going to take the lead? Yes, he does. Mario Andretti goes into the lead.
Little Al, his car unable to keep pace, settled for second and valuable PPG points. As Mario streaked under the checkered flag, the fans erupted. No driver is more popular than Andretti, and the fans enthusiastically received him on the victory stand. Amazingly, Portland's unique place in auto racing history began many years ago in East Portland. The first ever United States auto race towards the National Driving Championship was held on June 12, 1909. On that spring day, 3 classes of cars participated in road races on a dirt track in what is now known as Gresham, Oregon. It was the first road race ever to receive the official sanction of the American Automobile Association. Since 1909, many different types of auto races have taken place in Portland, and Portland offered CART, championship auto racing teams, exactly what they were looking for: a permanent road course facility and a tie-in with a major civic event, the Rose Festival. The rest is history. Coming into Portland, Michael Andretti was the hottest driver in CART. He'd won at Long Beach and Milwaukee. But road course aces Danny Sullivan, Emerson Fittipaldi, and Roberto Guerrero promised a stiff challenge, as did 2 previous Portland winners, Mario Andretti and Al Unser Jr. Despite the early June date, Portland had dodged rain in '84 and '85. This year was a different story. Qualifying took place on a soggy track, which played into the skills of Brazilian Formula One star Emerson Fittipaldi. Throwing up huge rooster tails of water, Emo captured the pole position with a speed of 94.084 miles per hour, more than 20 miles per hour slower than Mario's PIR record. Saturday's rain clouds took leave by Sunday. Once again, Portland International Raceway presented its sunny side. Undeterred by the threat of rain, the weekend saw over 70,000 race fans stream through the turnstiles.
And for a Brett. We have a green. We have a green flag. We are on
When the green flag fell, Michael Andretti blew by Fittipaldi into the chicane and was off. Showing brilliant form, Michael easily led until the first round of pit stops on lap 31. Guerrero, Sullivan, and Fittipaldi struggled to keep pace.
This is Michael Andretti pulling into the pits. It's the first of his routine pit stops. Michael Andretti, the leader, in car number 18. Okay, let's see how quickly he can make that. And he's getting outside tires, and it looks like he'll also get a right front tire. They got it placed out there, getting a right rear tire. Right rear tire. The arcing hose you see on the top is fuel. Someone may get underneath the car. You see the crewman there. That's not normal. No, but they disconnected him, getting the right front tire cinched up. Very good. It's taken a little longer than I think they wanted to. A little bit over 22 seconds, if I'm not mistaken. Michael Andretti heading back to the track. He was the leader when he pulled off. And it looks like Roberto Guerrero at the moment is the leader, but we must mention that he has not yet taken his pit stop. That's correct. This is Roberto Guerrero into the pits. He will drop out of first place. Danny Sullivan will move into the lead for the moment. He's heading in for his pit stop. He will now drop out of the lead, and it looks like Michael Andretti will again retake the lead. Notice Danny Sullivan come tearing into the pits that time around. He doesn't want to take a chance on losing the lead. He'd like to get in and get out before the young fella comes by. Right, he had about a 20-second lead, so it should be very close. Michael Andretti has just blown by us in the front straight, though, so Michael Andretti has retaken the lead. Here comes Danny Sullivan back on the track, but he will not be the leader. As he comes on, he's in second place.
One by one, Michael's challengers faltered. Guerrero overran Kevin Kogan.
Oh my! Contact there between Guerrero and who is he?
Fittipaldi's engine failed.
This is lap number, for Fittipaldi, lap number 80, so he was so close to finishing, and he's come into some problems here.
Michael dominated until the second round of pit stops, when a perfect stop by Sullivan's Penske team thrust him into the lead. Now, Andretti had to make up ground, and that he did. Determined to retake the lead, he did so in dramatic fashion, sending Sullivan careening off the track.
What a battle for... Oh! They collide, and Danny Sullivan is off the track. Danny Sullivan hits the Armstrong sliding back.
Meanwhile, Mario Andretti has quietly moved into second, but hopelessly behind his son. Michael's victory appears certain, or does it? On the final lap, Michael's car begins to slow. Let's listen to the ESPN announcer's exciting report of the finish.
Third, second, and third place is right in the background behind him. Michael into the left-hand turn, getting set up for the wide right-hand turn that sets the all-important trip down the main pit straight. Michael Andretti, car number 18, the Craco STP lead machine mark. The crowd on their feet. The crowd here is first, second, and third place. Oh my, what a challenge! Michael Andretti pulling aside. Did Michael pull aside to let his father win? Oh my!
Mario wins by less than 12 inches, the closest finish in IndyCar history. 7 1/1000ths of a second. Happy Father's Day, Mario.
Well, Mario, how's it feel to beat your son on Father's Day like that?
Oh dear, I tell you, it's he made it for me the happiest day of my life. Honestly, I just I couldn't believe it how things worked out. We just worked as hard as we could, and he had more than we did, and but things I guess evened out at the end. I think he had a little more fuel consumption, and I'm sorry for him because he was really running well, and but you know, I worked pretty hard too, so I'm sure he doesn't feel all that bad.
Bobby Rahal always has a way of finishing seasons with a flourish. But what would happen if he could start the season fast? Portland fans were about to find out. However, some kart regulars had other intentions. Roberto Guerrero had found his form, winning at Phoenix, placing second at Indianapolis, and then roaring away with the 1987 Portland pole position and the Kershaw Knives fastest qualifying award at a speed of 116.439 miles per hour, a new PIR record. Michael Andretti was accustomed to front running. Could he hold that lead today? Emerson Fittipaldi looked to change his Portland luck. And Rick Mears wanted to prove his speed on a road course. From the green flag, Fittipaldi hoped to make it a boring show, his own show. For 45 of the first 46 laps, the record crowd watched Emo cruise out front while his challengers dropped away. The grueling course and the heat was picking away at the entrance. Al Unser's engine only made it 7 laps.
The Domino's Pizza Hot one was running good, and then it blew up and broke. I was thinking about driving it all the way back to the pits, just coasting, but then I looked back and I saw the water leaking all over the track, and so that's when I decided to pull it on the grass and walk back.
And Guerrero's got a problem. Roberto Guerrero looks like he is also out of the race. Roberto Guerrero, one of the stars of 1987. Remember all the times misfortune has frowned upon him. As it happened again, it does look mighty terminal.
Al Unser Jr. is out and Roberto Guerrero is out of the race with only 10 out of 104 laps completed. We'll see who has a stronger car here, Emerson Fittipaldi or Bobby Rahal. Rahal right up on the rear wing of that car now as they negotiate the west end of the racetrack once again. 34 laps have been completed, by the way, and everybody has come in for his first pit stop.
And then Fittipaldi's engine. Well, it expired on lap 48. VIR's long, fast back straight and brutal pace took its toll.
Emerson Fittipaldi appears to be letting a chance of victory get away from him here this afternoon at Portland, and that is going to give the lead to Bobby Rahal. Event number 5 on the PPG IndyCar World Series for 1987, the G.I. Joe's Budweiser 200 here at Portland, is Bobby Rahal with about a 13-second lead over Michael Andretti, who has about a 5-second lead over Mario Andretti. Bobby, though, setting the pace here after Emerson Fittipaldi called it quits.
But on lap 68, a pit stop shuffle put Michael Andretti into the lead, looking to make up for last year's disappointment.
And here he comes into the pit area, Bobby Rahal. Stopping on the marks and the crew going to work. The clock ticking off, 5, 6, 7 seconds completed now as the fuel goes in. The tires being changed on the car. Bobby himself getting a drink of refreshment. Throwing the bottle on the other side of the pit wall and preparing himself to get back out there on the racetrack. He is moving again in just a little over 20 seconds.
Michael's lead was short-lived. Bobby Rahal blew past him on lap 70 and ran away to the checkered flag, winning the 1987 War of Attrition. This began his charge toward a second consecutive PPG title drive.
Out of corner number 9, here is Bobby Rahal from Dublin, Ohio, onto the straightaway now, and it looks as if, yes, he is going to win the Budweiser G.I. Joe's 200, his first win of 1987.
Today's modern Indy car is a masterpiece in aerodynamic sophistication. 15 feet long, with a minimum weight requirement of 1,500 pounds and a width of just over 5 feet, this open-wheel, open-cockpit, single-seat racing machine is capable of reaching speeds of more than 230 miles per hour. Current designers and builders, Penske, March, and Lola, study their designs in wind tunnels as if the cars were subsonic aircraft. The air management device on a modern Indy car are the wings and the underbody, which is shaped to create low pressure under the car, pressing it against the track. The faster the car goes, the more downforce is created. 4 power plants are in use: the Chevrolet, the Cosworth, the Judd, and the Porsche. All are V8 double overhead cam racing engines with turbocharging. Displacement is limited to about 161 cubic inches, with horsepower readings soaring into the 600 to 700 range. Burning methanol and with official restrictions requiring all to run the same boost pressure, these $400,000 marvels of high-tech automotive art are the ultimate speed machine. It's the 5th anniversary of the Rose Festival IndyCar event. The Budweiser G.I. Joe's 200 is now the biggest sports spectacular in Oregon sports history. But for Danny Sullivan, the race had been just a spectacular 5-year disappointment. Would 1988 be different? Danny hoped so. But the other kart regulars, like Dutchman Arie Luyendyk, having his best season ever, also hope to make off with the victory wreath. Rick Mears hoped to ride the momentum from early season victories at the Indy 500 and Milwaukee. And Emerson Fittipaldi looked ready to make good his promise from past Portland races. Once again, Portland race fans prepared themselves for the best in motorsports. Before a record crowd on Saturday, Sullivan, Mears, and the surprising Arie Luyendyk put on a spectacular demonstration of qualifying action. The start of the 1988 Budweiser G.I. Joe's 200 didn't disappoint the faithful.
The field comes out of corner number 9, and they begin to pick up speed, looking for the green flag. It is out. The Budweiser G.I. Joe's 200 is underway. Watch him go into the chicane now.
The flag fell on a field of 26. Immediately, Sullivan burst free of Luyendyk, Unser, Mears, the Andrettis, and Rahal, keeping hold of the lead until lap 14.
He turn 9, and he saves it. There's Luyendyk right on his tail, making a pass coming off the 9. Wow, how about that?
Unbelievable. He was trying to move by the slower car of Rocky Moran, and Sullivan lost it, sliding sideways, got into the grass, and that was all that Arie Luyendyk needed to pass. And here comes Al Unser Jr. to move to second.
Boy, now that's a change for you.
Now we watch Arie Luyendyk once again come through the east end of the racetrack. Will he be making a pit stop this time? Coming out of corner number 9, the car is indeed slowing down, and here comes Arie Luyendyk in for his first scheduled pit stop of the afternoon, and Gary Lee is there to report this stop.
The Pravimi field team will go to work. 6 guys over the wall. It will be a 4-tire change. However, Dick Simon says the car is handling like a dream. So they want some quick, efficient work in the pit and send him back out. Right now, all 4 tires being changed, 40 gallons of fuel being applied, a drink of water. And the crew is back away. The car is off to Jackson. Arie is underway.
And there is Al Unser Jr., who is finishing up his first pit stop. They push him away, and Al Unser Jr. goes back in competition. Now, very interesting, Johnny, and this could be the story of the race. You notice that Arie Luyendyk's pit stop was over 17 seconds, whereas Rick Mears and Danny Sullivan made pit stops in 13 and 14 seconds, and 3 seconds is a lot.
Meanwhile, in the back, some bump and run action kept the fans entertained. First, Michael Andretti came together with Howdy Holmes in turn 9, necessitating repairs for both. Randy Lewis slammed the door on Derek Daly, sending both cars off and prompting a near fistfight from the incensed Irishman Daly.
And the green is about to come out. Look at Danny Sullivan get the jump on Arie Luyendyk. Luyendyk drops to the inside. The car just did not come up to speed. It's a drag race between Sullivan and Luyendyk and Al Unser Jr. Who's going to get through the chicane here? Oh, Luyendyk maintains. As a matter of fact, Sullivan dropped back to third. Just some great action there on the restart.
Up front, the chase continued. Arie clung to a narrow lead over Sullivan. But during the second round of pit stops, Sullivan's efficient Penske crew shot him out ahead of Luyendyk.
And here is Arie right on the button. Remember, this year, CART allows 6 crew members over the wall, so each tire will have 1 man to change the tire. We also have the vent man and also the refueler. They're trying for a stop maybe 2 seconds faster than before. The car was handling beautifully through the first series of pit stops. Now the second series, 16.1 seconds, just a tad quicker than the first stop.
That's just what they wanted.
Yep. Very, very good stop for Arie Luyendyk. And Danny Sullivan now will be coming in for a pit stop. Here he comes right now.
Well, Bob, here's the third king of Orient R of the Portland IndyCar race today. Danny Sullivan makes his second and final pit stop right on the mark. They go to work on all 4 corners of the machine and not even checking for any problems. You remember the first time they came in, there was a tad bit of concern about whether or not there was any structural damage because of the spin. Danny is back down. The squirt of water, 14.2 seconds, and Danny Sullivan is away. The big question now is, what about his exit speed and entrance speed? How close is he on the track now with the Arie Luyendyk machine?
that means now that there are 5 cars that are on the lead lap. Danny Sullivan, Ari Leyendyke about 7 seconds behind now, and that interval has continued to increase the past few laps. It was 3, then it was 5, then it was 7, and Leyendyke, we understand, has lost 3rd gear out of the racetrack, and that isn't going to be very pleasant news for the Nick Simon team, and perhaps we are seeing Ari Leyendyke's hopes and dreams of winning his first IndyCar race vanish. Danny Sullivan, originally from Louisville, Kentucky, former winner of the Indianapolis 500-mile race, now accelerating and braking rather, and downshifting for turns number 7 and 8. Here he comes through the final corner, number 9.
He could coast.
Danny Sullivan has it wrapped up from here. He stands on the throttle. The fuel is there. The checkered flag comes out, and Danny Sullivan has won the Budweiser G.I. Joe's 200 from Portland International Raceway.
Danny Sullivan becomes the first Portland pole position winner to also win the race. Joining Danny in victory that day were Leyendyke and Emerson Fittipaldi, who drove a steady race and garnered crucial PPG points. But it's Glamour Boy Danny Sullivan, winner of the 1988 Budweiser G.I. Joe's 200, who deserves all the glory on this day. The Budweiser G.I. Joe's 200. At first, just a dream of Portland race fans and civic officials. Today, it's a bona fide mega event. And why not? The fastest cars, the brightest stars of racing, and each June they shine brightest during the Portland Rose Festival for the Budweiser G.I. Joe's 200.